This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Welcome back. It's finally summer and the pools and beaches are open and we'll be spending more time out in the sun. But if we aren't careful, a sunburn could sneak up on us. Today we have Dr. Puckett from Complete Family Medicine here this morning to talk about sun exposure, its risk, and the consequences of not protecting our skin. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
So first off, how can we protect ourselves?
Well, the most important thing is to recognize that UV radiation is a problem, and especially in the summertime, whenever the sun gets a little closer to us and the clouds start to part away, those UV ratings can go up. And you need to be aware of the UV index. And whenever the summer gets hot, that'll be reported right here on KTVO. It's on websites. There's apps for your phone. There's a whole variety of things that you can do to help you be aware of those UV rays. Outside of that, some things that you can do if you are going to be out in the sun is to always make sure that you're putting on sunscreen. Slip on slip on that sun protective clothing. If you're going to swim, wearing a swim cover-up shirt, now they make those where they don't carry any water, and you can do that with really no consequence. Slop on some SPF 30 or higher. We're often asked in the office, what's a good sunscreen? And really anything that's water resistant and has an SPF of greater than 30 is good. And you need to put that on about 30 or 20 minutes before you have sun exposure. Also wear a broad-brimmed hat that'll cover your face, your neck, and your ears. Those are the areas that we most often forget to apply the sunscreen and areas that get a lot of direct sun. And then if you have an opportunity, you're sitting outside, seek the shade. Find the tree to get underneath. Move yourself so that the shadow of the house is giving you some shade. That'll make a difference. And then very important to make sure that we're protecting our eyes by wearing sunglasses that meet both the UV A and B recommendations. And most sunwear these days have a little sticker on them that indicate that that's the case.
All right. Now the question is, so somebody that's already tan, does that already protect them from the sun, or are you still in harm's way?
Well, a good tan has about a protection of an SPF of 4, and obviously the recommendation is 30. So the concept that it may protect you from getting a sunburn, but there's two things that cause skin damage over time. It's sunburns, which are certainly a problem, and if you're tan, theoretically, you might not burn quite as quickly or easily. However, that doesn't stop any of the cumulative UV damage, and so the damage to the DNA, the damage to the skin, the damage to the parts of our skin that keep it nice and tight is still there and still happening. So really, with the protection with getting a tan, or even getting that early preventative tan, it really isn't there. It's really a mistake. And if you're getting that tan in a tanning bed, bad idea.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Do you recommend people going to tanning beds?
No, and for a few reasons. A tanning bed has 6 times the UV radiation that the sun does at its worst peak.
Wow.
So that's why you can be in the tanning bed for just a few minutes and get a pretty good exposure. And so UV radiation is UV radiation. There's no such thing as safe UV radiation. So actually, several governments, Europe, Australia, have actually outlawed tanning beds. We have a couple new rules that have come down just here recently. Number one, the FDA has required that all tanning beds have a black box warning, kind of like some medicines have a black box warning, highlighting the effects on the skin. And then also in Missouri, passed in this last legislative session, we have a new law that is going to require all people under the age of 18 to have yearly parental consent. And so before you can go get that tan, if you're under the age of 18, you're going to have parents sign. It's a lengthy document, describes all of the problems that might be encountered. So tanning bed's not a good idea.
Okay. Now what about cloudy days or cool days? Are we still in risk of getting...
Yeah, if the clouds are extremely heavy, they can actually filter a little bit of the UV and infrared. When we're outside and we feel hot, we feel the heat, that's infrared, that's not UV. And so they're two totally independent things. Now, often when the infrared's up, so's the UV up, and so when it's hotter outside, you feel hot, you get more of a sun exposure to the UV. But they're two totally different things. So in light clouds, definitely you can get the same amount of UV exposure, and sometimes the way the clouds and how much precipitation are in them can actually reflect UV even stronger and can actually increase the amount of UV exposure. So cloudy day, you need to treat it just like a sunny day.
Okay. And really quickly, what happens and what should we do if we got sunburn? So what should we do?
Get out of the sun, keep it cool, and maybe a cool bath. Don't put any sort of major salves on it. That's going to hold in the infrared, because once you have a sunburn, your body's inflamed, it gets hot. And so don't do any of Grandma's secrets of butter and all these different things. And if you blister significantly or have any symptoms of just feeling ucky, nausea, headache, all those sorts of things, you need to seek care at your primary care physician's office.
Okay, perfect. And what we'll do is we'll post all of this on our website at heartlandconnection.com. We'll also link up your information as well if anybody has any questions or if they actually do get a really bad sunburn. Thank you so much, Dr. Puckett, for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks.